Hello and welcome to the webinar. This is Neil Howe and I'm glad that you were able to make it. Let's get started by checking on the audio here. Put a 1 in chat box if you can hear me okay. Let me know if there's any issues with the sound. Okay, seems like I'm coming through nice and clearly. Also, make sure that you can see my page. First thing you should see is, can you afford not to rank on Google? So hit a 2 in the chat box there if everybody can see my screen, and we will get started right away. Okay, lots of 2s coming through, so I guess we are good to go. We have sound and we have the screen share going. So let us get going and talk about this really important topic. We are almost at 2018 right now, and we've got some very important information to share. So, just pay attention and we'll focus on this major question. Can you afford not to rank on Google? We're going to talk about the estimated value of ranking on page 1 of Google. And again, my name is Neil Howe, I'm the CEO of The Authority Architect. Here's a brief description or introduction to me. I'm featured here on Business Innovators magazine on how to position yourself uniquely to sell in 5 easy steps. You can contact me 404-428-1399 or neil@theauthorityarchitect.com. Also here on Authority Presswire for the work that we're doing in the water, fire, damage and mold remediation market in Atlanta. So basically, who are we? We're a premier SEO services provider and internet marketing consulting agency that serves professional clients throughout the United States. I am based in the Atlanta area, so you might hear me talking about Atlanta because that is my backyard. Also, here's a picture of me with my book, which is Foundation, which is basically building a strong foundation for your business. Our company utilizes a proven ranking system based on that foundation for ranking keywords on page 1 of Google. So these keywords receive several 100,000 monthly searches, and they produce up to thousands of phone calls daily for my clients. And obviously a percentage of those phone calls convert to sales and increased revenues and profits. So if that sounds appealing to you, you're definitely in the right place at the right time. So be sure to tune out and shut off all your distractions, including your mobile devices, social media and the like. Have a pen and paper handy and take some notes and get ready to see why your business needs to be ranking on page 1 of Google and you really cannot afford not to. So what is SEO and what is its impact on lead generation? So over the years, SEO has been and still is the #1 way for business to business to get leads from the internet. As you can see here, 57% of the leads come from SEO, 25% come from pay-per-click, and 18% come from social media. Also business to consumer, same thing, SEO still leads. 41% comes from SEO, 34% comes from pay-per-click, and 25% from social media. SEO is still the undisputed king as far as lead generation. Now, when you consider your search result page, 60% of the information above the fold is dedicated to pay-per-click, and that's how Google makes their money. So they're really pushing pay-per-click. The first listings that you see are all pay-per-click, and yet the listings below that, starting with your map listing and your organic listings below the map, they are still the ones that are getting the majority of the clicks, even though they get less of the search engine real estate from Google and the other search engines. So people do want to click on those SEO, those organic results. Obviously, they do click on the pay-per-click as well. But the SEO has the better conversion and you generally get a better customer as well from SEO. So where are we today? This is back in 2015. There's only over 5.5 billion searches per day. We're well over the 6 billion mark now. And about 50% or more of those searches are for local businesses. And out of all those search results, 91.5% of the clicks occur on page 1 of the search results. So that first page of Google is where almost everybody goes. If you've ever heard the joke, where's the best place to hide a dead body? It is on page 2 of Google, basically because nobody goes there and nobody will ever see it or find it. So if you're on page 2 of Google, you're probably not getting any clicks at all, or any meaningful clicks to your business at all. So we got 91% is on page 1. We've got 4.8%. Now that's divided by the 10 plus results that you would see on the page of page 2. So, not a very high response from page 2 or below. So if you're there, you're probably not getting a great deal of SEO traffic. But obviously, to get to that first page of Google is where all the traffic is, and that is where you want to be. So what does the click-through rate look like for page 1 of Google based on the positions? Now I've got 75.7% of first page clicks are in the top 5 results in Google. So that's 3/4 of the results on the top 5 results. So if we look at number 1, it gets 32.5%, and these are just average click-through rates. Number 2 gets 50% of that, 17%. Number 3 gets 11%. So even in those top 3 results, I would say is where you really want to be, and you can have a business that relies on getting traffic from the top 3 results. If you're below that, it depends on what kind of business that you're in. Maybe you only need a few customers, but you're probably not going to get a great deal of traffic if you're below that top 3 result, at least not enough to run your business on. So we've got 32, that's about 50. So we're 61, 62% of all the traffic click on the first 3 results. And that can be either the first 3 organic results, or it can be the first 3 map results. Maps traffic is really taken off over the last couple of years, and they are really getting a lot of the clicks to where you really need to be positioned on the map as well as in the organic, which starts below the map as well, heading into 2018. And there's definitely specific ways that you can do that to feature both in the organic and on the map. So what are the initial takeaways? We've got SEO is still the key driver of online lead generation, and ranking on page 1 of Google is imperative, especially ranking in those top 3 results. But why? Why do you need to rank on page 1 of Google, and much preferably in those top 3 results? Because when you rank on page 1 of Google, you're going to generate more online traffic and visitors to your website, which leads to leads and qualified leads, which leads to sales, which leads to increased revenues and more profits for you and for your business. And the higher you rank on page 1, the bigger your potential to dominate your market. And that's what it's all about, is to dominate your market, and of course to crush your competition, because you're really just you want to be number 1, and that's what you want to strive for and get the most business. And yes, that means if you're on page 1 of Google, it means somebody who was on page 1 of Google is not going to be there anymore. So you got to be okay with pushing your competition a little bit further down. But What if you're not ranking on page 1 of Google? Who is? Well, obviously your competition, which means they and not you are in that prime position to generate more online traffic, website visitors, leads, qualified leads, sales, revenues, and profits. So why is it all so important, and why do you need to rank on page 1 of Google? Because there's actually a cost of not ranking on page 1 of Google, and that cost can actually be calculated. It didn't surprise me if you did not know this. There's a very, very good chance that you did not even know there was a way to calculate the estimated value of any keyword in any position on page 1 of Google. But that's okay. But why don't you know is my question. I mean, wouldn't you want to know if you're investing in SEO or considering investing in SEO? Unfortunately, most SEO professionals have no clue, and that is rather sad. They have no idea how to calculate the value of any keyword on page 1 of Google, and worse yet, they have no clue how to calculate the estimated value of a keyword. So how many of the so-called SEO professionals or experts have you either retained or currently retaining, you've talked to, you've received their emails on marketing information, and or you've heard their sales pitch? How many of them have actually calculated the estimated value of the keywords they are attempting or intend to rank on page 1 of Google for you? How many have even mentioned the potential value of any one of your keywords? I would say it's very, very few, if any at all. Now, don't you think it would be vitally important to know the potential value of a keyword you're trying to rank on page 1 of Google for before trying to rank it, or even paying somebody to try and rank it for you? Why, of course it would. So that being the case, then, why do a vast majority of SEO consultants never calculate for you the estimated value of ranking any of your keywords on page 1 of Google? Or they probably haven't even mentioned it to you. A vast majority of SEO consultants have absolutely no clue how to calculate a keyword's value, and worse yet, these same SEO consultants very likely have absolutely no clue how to find the right resource to run or have someone run your keyword valuation for you. So the next time you talk to your current SEO consultant and or any other consultant trying to sell you their SEO services, ask them what the potential value is for one or more of your keywords if it is ranked on page 1 of Google, anywhere from that number 1 to that number 10 position. What do you think the response is going to be? After a few ums and clearing the throat, you already know before they say anything that they do not know how to calculate the estimated keyword value, or worse, they have no idea what you're even talking about. And let's even assume they did know, which is highly unlikely. But why did you have to bring it up in the first place? This is a key question that they should be answering for you. Don't you think that any SEO consultant worth their weight should already know how to do this and has already done this for you so they can tell you the potential value of any of your keywords? See, this puts you in a position to make an informed decision whether it seems worthwhile to have SEO work performed on any specific keywords and what results you may estimate, assuming all your assumptions are accurate, of course. So if this should be throwing up a few red flags for you if this is the kind of information that you don't know. Because if an SEO consultant can't tell you the estimated value of any keywords they are ranking, trying to rank, or want to rank for you, how can they even recommend to you which keywords to even rank for in the first place? Sure, there will be some obvious keywords, but even so, how can an SEO consultant even begin to understand how to price their services if they don't even have a clue what your potential revenues might be if they get you ranked on page 1 of Google for your keywords? How could you determine your potential return on investment without this vital information? It's akin to flying blind, but it does not need to be that way. So I have great news for you, because I do use a software tool to estimate the value of ranking any competitive keyword on page 1 of Google, and I can run this calculation for virtually any scenario based on certain assumptions, including your own metrics, if you have them, for the most accurate estimate. So let's talk about what that means and why it's important to estimate the value of ranking on page 1 of Google. So we've got a step-by-step calculation here. While we do have an estimation software, let's do some quick but very important calculations that you've probably never seen before but wished you had, to see how much in potential lost revenue you may have if your competitors are ranking on page 1 of Google and you're not. So as an example, let's say you or your competitors have a keyword with a monthly search volume of 1,000 unique visitors per month. That means about 1,000 people are coming to your page and they are clicking somewhere on the search engine results. So let's assume that the following estimated monthly click distribution is as follows. We talked about what percentage clicks on the number of the ranking. So number 1 gets 32.5%, and these are estimates. It varies for different industries, but these are about average. Number 2 gets 17.6%, number 3 gets 14.1%, all the way down to number 10, it gets about 2.6%. So if you have 1,000 people coming to the website, if you're in the number 1 position, you're likely to get 325 clicks. If you're in the number 2 position, 176 clicks, number 3, 114, all the way down to 26 if you're in number 10. Now remember, this is based on one keyword with an estimated monthly search volume of 1,000 searches. So what does that look like over a year's time? You know, we're talking about 3,900 clicks to your website if you are in position number 1. Now, do you think that would be beneficial to your business if you got an extra 3,900 clicks to your website? You think you'd be able to sell something if you have a good website and a great service? Of course, it would make a tremendous difference. And remember, again, this is only one potential keyword. You may have 10, 20, 30 keywords that are going to drive traffic to their website. Now, of the estimated monthly clicks that come in, only a percentage of them are really going to be qualified leads. There's always going to be your competition coming and clicking on your site to see what's going on and what you're doing. And that's one reason that I hate pay-per-click, is because the competition clicks on your links all the time and just wastes money every single day. So let's say 20% of all the clicks that you get. So you get 325 clicks in first position, 20% are qualified leads, which means they really are in the search of something. And this is the great thing about a local business as well. It's 87% of people, which is the latest figures that came out, 87% of people that are doing a local search mean to make a buying decision in 24 hours. So this qualified is likely to be a lot higher than 20, but let's just stick with 20 for this example. So if 20% were actually qualified leads, that would be 65 qualified people that are coming to you or your website and looking for information to make an informed buying decision. Now annualize that again and again from one keyword, 780 qualified people. I mean, how much effort do you think it's going to take to turn 780 qualified people into paying customers? Probably not a great deal. These are your ideal customers that would be coming to you looking to buy. They've already made the decision that they have to buy something or they need you to solve their problem. You just need to be able to sell them on your service from there. And again, 422, you can still run a great business on that, as well as 274 in that third position, getting all these clicks to your website over a year's time. So let's assume that mere 10% of qualified leads retain one of your competitors. If you're not on the first page of Google yourself, they're going to get business from somewhere else. In other words, 10% of your qualified leads are converted to the sale. Now, I own a local business, or at least my wife does here in Atlanta, and she closes about 50% of all the calls that come through. And that is a fairly high close rate. It is for a cleaning business. Now, you know, if you're a personal injury attorney, you might not be closing 50%, but if you're talking to qualified leads all the time, you're going to close a pretty high percentage, as long as, you know, they know that you can help them and they have the money in order to pay. But let's just work with 10% to show you the power of what can still be done with just a 10% close rate. So again, ranking that number one position, estimated 325 clicks from this one keyword. That's 20% are qualified, which gives you 65. And of those 65 that are qualified, you only close 10% of them. That gives you 6.5 new clients a month. Now, what would an extra 6.5 new clients from the internet do for your business each and every month? I think that would be, you know, pretty nice, even just to get 6.5. And remember, this is only at a 10% close rate, and this is only from one potential keyword. Now, let's assume that you're a personal injury attorney and that each of your new clients is worth $50,000 for you or for your competitor, whoever is on the first page. And maybe your lifetime client value is higher or lower. I know for a personal injury attorney, they can get well into the six figures for the clients that they take on. There's definitely a lot of money to be made in that. But even in the cleaning business, you know, a good customer can be worth, you know, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 per year. And, you know, that can be with just in the residential side. Commercial can be worth a lot more. So it all depends on what your business is. You know what your lifetime value is for your client. But let's just use this as an example. So we're looking at that 6.5 sales per month, where that would convert into a $325,000 monthly revenue at $50,000 per customer. And again, in position number 3, 3.5, 175,000, and 2.3 is 115,000. Again, let's annualize that and look at what that would mean over the course of a year. We've got 3.9 million in additional revenue by being on the number one spot in Google for this one keyword. Now, do you think that is worth it for a personal injury attorney to be in that number one position? Definitely, of course it is. And even that number two position is still worth 2.1 million. Number three position is 1.35 million. You know, that is a lot of extra money by just being positioned on the first page of Google. And even if we go down to number 10, to add another 300,000 to the bottom line is probably fairly acceptable for many personal injury attorneys, just by being featured on that first page of Google in the number 10 position for one of these keywords. So, you know, we have to estimate what's possible here. And to be fair, I must tell you that the preceding examples were only estimates, potential sales and revenue numbers that are for information purposes only. So even though they were only hypothetical figures, they are actually something much more than that. They reveal what is so very possible in terms of new sales and revenues generated online if and when you're ranking on the first page of Google. So in our example, ranking first on page 1 of Google has the potential annual revenue value of 3.9 million for just that one keyword phrase. So in our example, ranking last or 10th was still worth 300,000. And that was only with one keyword with some pretty easy assumptions. Just imagine what the potential value is for all of your keywords. Now, obviously, your top keywords are going to, give you the best numbers like this, but there's dozens of keywords that have lower search volumes, but still drive traffic to your website. And when you add them all together, it can make a substantial difference to your business. So let's take this thought process one step further. What if you had multiple page one rankings, like this example? And this is definitely possible with what I was saying about some of the lower search keywords, those long tail keywords. You can own multiple positions on a page. So 6 out of the top 8 page one Google rankings for one of the most competitive keywords for a major US city, including the number 1 and number 2 positions. That is what you call total market domination. And that is entirely possible if you have the right strategy. Now, that's what I call total market domination. So I ask you again, can you afford not to rank on the first page of Google? Now, the preceding, again, these calculations were based on certain assumptions and only an example of what is possible and not a guarantee of any kind. However, the important takeaway for you is to understand that if you're not ranking in Google, you're not banking, and that you and your business are potentially losing out on substantial revenues which are just waiting for you to grab. After all, somebody is ranking there, and they will be generating the online traffic, the clicks, the leads, the phone calls, the emails, the sales, the revenues, and of course the profits from ranking on page one of Google for your keywords. So make that someone you and make your business appear there as soon as possible. Otherwise, your competitors are going to have that upper hand and your business is going to suffer. So with the type of potential lost revenues you see are possible when you don't rank on page one of Google, I have to ask you, can you really afford not to rank on page one of Google? You and I, we both know the answer to that question, don't we? So what should you do next? Well, you have two choices. You can either do something about it. You can pick up the phone, you can give me a call, and we can look at your business. I can share a report with you so you can see exactly what it would be worth to you to rank on page one of Google and whether it's really worth spending the time, the money, and the effort on getting to that lucrative page one. So you can do that and you're going to move forward, or you can do nothing and you can hope and pray that somebody's going to land on your website somehow. But we both know that, hoping and praying just doesn't really work. You actually have to do something in order to get on page one. Now, if you already are on page one and you still have two choices again, you either continue to drive that traffic, making sure that people are going to your website and you're ranking on page one, because if you do nothing and you just happen to be there by chance or something that you might have done in the past, there's always going to be somebody else. Somebody like me is going to come along and they're going to get a business owner that's going to invest in themselves, and we're going to take one of those positions in that top 10 pack. So if you're not doing something, you're either going to be climbing or you're going to be falling. So again, two choices. It's entirely up to you. So you can do nothing and leave the fate of your business to chance, or you can schedule a free, no obligation keyword valuation and analysis now. So to find out the estimated value of your keywords, if you're ranking on page one of Google instead of your competitors, you can just give me a call. Plus, I'll provide you with a game plan for your keywords to show up on page one of Google, so you have a good idea of everything that needs to be done in order to get there. So I'm looking for a few more qualified clients. I don't work with a great deal of clients personally. The type of clients I work with are businesses who want to generate more online traffic, leads, qualified leads, phone calls, emails, sales, and revenues. Businesses who are ready to invest now. We are approaching 2018. Great to get started with momentum, the new fiscal year in 2018. And, you know, there's no better time than now. During this holiday season, most of your competitors are probably going to be doing next to nothing. So it's a great time to get started and just hit 2018 with momentum. And of course, businesses who do not penny pinch or delay key decisions. If you think that you need to wait until 2018, then you're probably not the right person for me to be working with. And again, if you think that this can be done for next to no money and you're not willing to invest in your business, then we're probably not a good fit either. So pick a day and time to talk now. You need to pick a day and time for us to speak as soon as possible, as I work on an exclusive basis and my time and client roster space are very limited. And once my roster fills up, it can be several months before another slot becomes available. And by exclusive, I mean if I'm working with a personal injury attorney in Atlanta, I'm not going to work with any other personal injury attorney as long as we continue to do business. So I'm available to speak 7 days a week. All you need to do is reply. So go ahead and schedule your free, no obligation keyword valuation and analysis now before your competitors do. To get started, or if you want to get started immediately and beat your competition, you can call me at 404-428-1399 or email at neil@theauthorityarchitect.com. So thank you for taking your valuable time out of your day to watch this presentation. I hope it moves you to take action and take control of your business and to dominate 2018. I look forward to speaking with you very soon. Just call me, Neil Howe, 404-428-1399 or email neil@theauthorityarchitect.com.